teach your kid blind skills. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa. I have albinism, and today we're going to talk about different tips parents who should know who have kids with albinism. So we're going to go from sun protection to mobility skills to life skills and honestly mental skills. So let's start with sun protection. Sun protection is so important. As a kid, I did not know how important this was. I used to hate my mom for putting caps on me, for me wearing sunscreen, for me having to wear a hat and all those other things. But now I realize how important it is, because it does. Sun damages the skin, and for people with albinism, it damages the skin even more. This is the sunscreen I use. I will try to show you guys. There you go. I bought it yesterday. It is a sunscreen that has the most protection I could find in the pharmacy. I will wear sunscreen every single day. Sunscreen does give me breakouts sometimes if the sunscreen has gone bad. There is an expiry date on there, which is not accessible, weirdly enough, but it is really important. So please make sure that your kid has sunscreen, even in the pool. Make sure you set a timer for every 2 hours. Just make sure that there is sun protection. This is important for everyone, but especially for me, because I do not have a lot of pigment. I do not brown. So please, sun protection is a must. The second thing I'm going to talk about is mobility skills. And this is something my parents could not teach me, and I did not have an O&M instructor growing up, so I have to learn those things now as my vision is decreasing. So please bring your kid to O&M classes if you can. That's orientation and mobility. So those skills are basically learning how to use a white cane, learning echolocation. So this means learning to hear cars and learning to hear when there's a wall, and these things are really important, and learning these things can save your kid's life, literally. My mom used to go everywhere with me because I did not have the classes, because I did not get the classes because people said I could see enough. Now look, I do not have depth perception, and I have nystagmus, and I have a lot of issues in different lighting situations. So right now my sight is fairly okay, but if I would go outside, I am as blind as a bat. So my eyesight has changed recently, and this is a whole other story. So please teach your kid those lessons, because what if their sight changes when they get older? At least they have the skills. So now as an adult, I am going to O&M lessons, and I have a white cane because now I need it to get to places. So this is my cane. It has a marshmallow tip. It's like a round tip, so you can use a sweeping technique. So how this works is you sweep from one side to the other side when you are walking, so that you don't walk into things. Of course, this only goes waist down, but it's already a very good start for safety reasons. Plus, if you want to walk outside at night like me, and I do not see well at night at all, this does help. So orientation and mobility is really important. Plus, I know that there are a lot of blind people here on YouTube. I mean, I found 2, so that's not a lot, but for me that's a lot, because I didn't even find channels of people who are blind. But anyway, they do have guide dogs, but again, you need mobility training to even think of getting a guide dog. So this is really important, just for safety reasons. Now, the third important thing I would want to talk about are life skills. Life skills meaning learning how to use a computer, learning how to use voiceover, how to use screen readers, how to study with audio. These are all things that I have to learn now, because my sight was fairly good up until now. So these are things which, if you can enroll your kid from when they are way younger, even if they have okay vision, would be really important. For me, my mom had to fight to even get me into computer classes to learn to type blind, because I could not read the letters on the keyboard. So I would be sitting there with my head planted on the keyboard and then trying to type, which is not really productive if you're ever going to go to the workforce. So I would say make sure that you enroll your kid in as many of those classes as possible. I mean, these classes can also entail like cooking classes, like do not cut yourself with a knife. It's basic things like also doing laundry. I have learned that now as my vision has changed, my washer and my dryer are not accessible anymore. So I cannot wash my own clothes. So I am dependent on my partner to do this for me. So please, please, please bring your kid to those classes. Again, for people my age, I'm 24 right now, I feel really old. The classes were not there for people with albinism because everyone was like, people with albinism are an in-between category because inside they can see fairly well. I am here to tell you, please, all the classes are super, super important. So do it, even if it takes driving your kid there, even if it takes, you Googling on the internet or all those other things, do it. Like my parents could not do it. There was not enough internet when I was growing up. There were not enough resources for them. School did not tell them. So please, please, if you're having a kid with albinism right now, at this point, teach them, because now the resources are there, and I am speaking from experience right now as an adult having to learn blind skills. So please, please, please teach your kid the resources, even if your ophthalmologist is telling you that their vision won't change, because you never know what might happen. They already have low vision mostly, so just teach them. Even if their vision is low but stable, just make sure those skills are there, because now I am having to relearn how to study, because I have to learn to study with audio and all those things. They have mental and physical energy. Now, the fourth thing that is really, really important to me, and that my mom did a wonderful job at, even if she did not have the resources, and even if no one thought her and no one helped her, is my mental health. My mom has been a champion in teaching me how to cope with bullying, with my vision, with my impairment. As a parent, she did everything she could. We did not know that maybe sending me to a psychologist would be a good idea, or sending me to a psychiatrist, or just sending me to different groups would be, that they even existed. No one told my mom. My mom read books, did all the research she could, and that was available to her at that time. Remember, YouTube was not a thing. Internet was not really as accessible as it is now. So my mom read every single book she could find and tried to teach me how to cope with people bullying me, with me having to realize that I am different, with me not fitting in with my family. My mom did all she could. She was the listening ear I needed. My mom is a very successful artist, that has several awards. You will be seeing my mom in upcoming videos. She stopped working for me, and she was my listening ear when I would come home from school, that my teachers were not helping me, that students were bullying me, that I was not getting the help I needed, that I was not understanding something. My mom learned Dutch when I was a very young kid. My mom did everything she could to help me with studying. My mom would sit with me and summarize my text with me, because I could not read it. So she would read it, all the text with me, and study with me every single day until I was 12. My mom was everything, honestly, you can dream of as a child. My dad was there for everything as well. My dad would sit with me and ask me questions when I was studying. My dad would make sure that my mom and dad used to go to school to talk to my teachers, to explain to them what I was and wasn't capable of. My parents were always there, and mental health is so important, and having people you can talk to is so, so important. My grandmother was always there. I could go on Wednesday afternoons. I could go and sit with my grandmother and tell her all the things that were happening in school. I had a wonderful cousin that my grandmother would fly over so that I had a playmate before my brother was born. My brother and I, we differ 6 years, and she made sure that I had my cousin there. I had people to play with. I had people to talk to. My family did the best they could without knowing how much resources were available and if there were any resources available. We lived in a small village. There was no special aids or special groups they could send me to or anything like that. My parents and my grandparents and my cousin, and honestly my lovely aunt for letting her come to Belgium so much so that I had someone, were amazing people. And mental health is so important because honestly isolation is real. When you do not have mobility skills, when you did not learn certain social skills, isolation is a real thing. And me having my mom that I can call every single day, even as an adult, to tell her all my frustrations and to have her be with me from beginning to end, having my dad who has always been like the beacon of a reason when I needed help, having my grandmother and my grandfather always be there. When my mom was not there, they were the people who would pick me up from school. They were the people who would help me with like projects. Like I did woodwork and my grandfather was there to help me that I would not hurt myself, holding a saw, because let's be honest, blind people should not be holding a saw if they're not properly trained. But all those things, having a support system is such a big thing. So now, as we have further in life and as mental health and going to a psychologist has become more accessible than ever, and I know it is expensive and I know that it's not the cheapest thing, but please, 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 even if it is people at your church or any other groups you are part of, bring your kid, because those mental health issues are way bigger than all the other visual things I have talked about. Depression, suicidal thoughts, all those things. I cannot say that those things will happen to your child, but they might happen to your child. So please be the support system. Be the person that listens to them. I know this was a very rambly video, and I hope this video was helpful to any parents who have a kid with albinism. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to watch my journey to blindness and watch my journey to learning how to navigate vision change as someone who has albinism. And I hope to see you guys on the next video, and I am really happy you were here. Comment down below if you have a kid with albinism, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!